The shuttle doors opened, and Park stepped onto Station 7 for the first time. She carried one bag over her shoulder and wore the gray uniform of a new cadet. Her black hair was tied back in a simple braid. She looked around at the massive docking bay with wide eyes, trying not to show how nervous she felt. She was the first human to ever attend the Galactic Military Academy. The station was huge. Metal walls stretched up so high they could barely see the ceiling. Aliens of every shape and size walked past her. Some had scales, some had feathers, some had too many eyes or too few limbs. They all stopped to stare at her as she walked by. Pretended not to notice. A tall, thin alien with pale blue skin and large dark eyes approached her. The alien moved like water, smooth and careful. She wore an instructor's uniform with many medals on her chest. "Corporal Park?" the alien asked. Her voice was soft and musical. "Yes, instructor." "I am instructor. I will take you to your living quarters." Looked at for a long moment. Her large eyes blinked slowly. "You are smaller than I expected." Smiled. "I get that a lot." They walked through long corridors. The gravity on the station was light, much lighter than Earth. Felt like she might float away with each step. She had to be careful not to walk too fast or jump too high. "Your species file is very interesting," said as they walked. "Your planet is classified as a Class 7, very dangerous. It's not so bad once you get used to it. Your file says your planet has liquid water falling from the sky, acid storms. That's just rain. It's actually very nice." Made a strange sound. It might have been fear or surprise, was not sure. They reached a door and pressed her hand against a panel. The door slid open. Inside was a small room with 3 beds. 2 aliens were already there. One was covered in short brown fur with 4 eyes arranged in a diamond shape on his face. He was small and looked very nervous. The other was tall with green scales and a long tail. She looked strong and serious. "These are your bunkmates," said. "Cadet and Cadet, they will help you learn the station rules." Left without another word, the door closed behind her. Set her bag on the empty bed. "Hello, it is nice to meet you." The small furry one pressed himself against the far wall. All 4 of his eyes were very wide. "You are the," he whispered. "I am from Earth, yes." "Is it true that your planet has giant predators that hunt in groups, and plants that eat animals, and insects that drink blood?" "Thought about this. Yes, but they are not everywhere." Made a high squeaking sound and hid under his bed. The scaled one studied with cold eyes. "I have read about your kind. You are persistent hunters. You chase prey until it dies from exhaustion. You can run for days without stopping." "Some humans can. I'm not very good at running, actually." "Your bones heal when broken. Your body can survive damage that would kill any other species." Shrugged. "We are hard to kill, that is true." His tail swished back and forth. "Why are you here? Why would I want to join the galactic military?" It was a good question. Sat on her bed and looked at her new bunkmates. Earth joined the Galactic Compact 12 years ago. Before that, we did not know aliens existed. We thought we were alone in the universe. She paused. "I want to be part of something bigger. I want to help protect the Compact. I want to prove that humans can be trusted." Said nothing, peeked out from under his bed. "Also," added with a small smile, "I heard the food here is very good." Made a sound that might have been a laugh. Over the next few days, tried her best to fit in. She learned the station layout. She memorized the rules. She attended classes with hundreds of other cadets from dozens of different species. It was not easy. She had to walk slowly so others could keep up with her. Her natural pace was too fast and scared people. She had to eat carefully because the way humans chewed food looked aggressive to some species. She had to speak softly because her voice was too loud. But she did not complain, she just adapted. Not everyone wanted her there. Commandant watched from his office high above the training grounds. He was a species known for their large size and bad temper. His skin was thick and gray like stone. His eyes were small and filled with hate. "The human," he said to his aide, Lieutenant. "She passed the entrance exams." "Yes, Commandant. Top scores in survival and combat theory." Made a growling sound. "Do not belong in this academy. They are animals pretending to be civilized. The Treaty of Integration requires us to accept qualified candidates from all member species, sir." "I do not care about treaties," turned away from the window. "She will fail. She will learn that her kind is not welcome here. Make sure of it." Lieutenant bowed his head. "Yes, Commandant." Far below, walked across the training grounds within. She did not know that powerful people wanted her gone. She did not know that her time at the academy would become a fight for survival. She only knew that she was finally among the stars, finally part of something greater than herself. And she would not let anyone take that away from her. The problem started small. On her third day, opened her locker and found it empty. Her training gear was gone. Her data pad was gone. Even her spare uniform was missing. She reported the theft to the quartermaster. The quartermaster, a bored-looking alien with too many arms, checked his records and shrugged. "No theft reported. Your locker shows no items registered." "But I put them there myself." "System says otherwise. Maybe you forgot." Did not forget, but she said nothing more. She borrowed old gear from the lost and found and went to her first training session. The next week her food rations were cut in half. A computer error, they said. It would be fixed soon, they said. It was never fixed. Learn to eat less. Her body complained, but she ignored it. Humans could survive on very little food for a long time. It was one of the things that made her species so hard to kill. Found her in the mess hall one evening. He was another human, older than her by a few years. He worked in the engineering section and had been on the station for 2 cycles already. He sat down across from her with a tray of food. "You look thin," he said in Korean. It was nice to hear her own language again. "Computer error. My rations are wrong." Pushed half his food toward her. "It's not an error. They're doing this on purpose." "Who?" "Commandant, he hates humans. He hates all actually, but humans especially. He thinks we don't belong in the compact." Looked at the food, her stomach growled. Why doesn't anyone stop him? "He has friends in high places, political connections. The other officers are afraid of him." Leaned closer. "Be careful, he wants you to fail. He wants you to quit. Don't give him the satisfaction." "I won't quit." "I know, that's what worries me." The combat simulations were the worst. Every cadet had to complete group combat exercises. Teams were assigned randomly. Objectives were given. Success was measured and recorded. His team always had problems. Her weapons jammed at critical moments. Her shields failed without warning. Her teammates were always the weakest cadets, the ones who had barely passed their exams. And somehow, the enemy team was always twice their size. She won anyway. In one simulation, her entire team was eliminated in the first 5 minutes, was alone against 8 opponents. The simulation was designed to be impossible to win alone. She won in 12 minutes. The other cadets started to watch her differently after that, some with fear, some with respect, a few with hatred. Started following her everywhere. The small, furry alien had stopped being afraid of her. Now he seemed fascinated. "How do you do it?" he asked one day. "How do you keep fighting when everything goes wrong?" Thought about this. On Earth, my ancestors survived an ice age. The whole planet froze, most species died. Humans did not. We adapted, we kept going. But weren't you scared? Fear is not bad. Fear keeps you alive. But you cannot let fear stop you from doing what needs to be done. His 4 eyes blinked. "I am always scared." That's okay. Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. Being brave means being scared and doing the thing anyway. The survival exam came at the end of the first cycle. Cadets were dropped on 6, a frozen moon with deadly cold. The temperature was far below freezing. Most species would die in minutes without protection. The goal was simple: reach the extraction point within 40 hours. Drop pod landed 12 kilometers from where it should have. Her heating unit was set to minimum power. Her emergency beacon did not work. She was alone in the dark and the cold. Any other cadet would have died. Any other species would have frozen solid in hours. Started walking. Her suit was not enough to keep her warm, so her body did something that no alien body could do. It started burning energy to create heat. Her temperature rose. She developed a fever, but this fever was not sickness. It was survival. She walked through ice storms. She climbed frozen cliffs. She did not stop to rest because resting meant freezing. On the 7th hour, she found another cadet. Unnamed. He was injured, his leg broken from a bad landing. He had given up. He was waiting to die. Picked him up and carried him on her back. "You cannot," whispered. "It is too far, leave me." "No. You will die." "Then we die together, but I don't think we will die." She carried him for 5 more hours through the frozen wasteland. When walked into the extraction point, she was ahead of schedule. Her suit was covered in ice. Her lips were blue. She was running a fever of 40 degrees. But she was alive, and so was. The medical team rushed forward. Instructor stood frozen, her data pad showing readings that should have been impossible. Her body was cooking itself, whispered. She generated enough internal heat to survive temperatures that would kill in combat armor. Commandant watched from the observation deck. His gray face went pale. The human had not died. She had not quit. She had won. And she had saved one of his cadets while doing it. He turned away from the window, his hands shaking with rage. This was not over. They had to go. He would find another way. It was late when left the library. The station had a night cycle, when the lights dimmed and most cadets went asleep, like studying during these quiet hours. The library was empty and peaceful. She walked through the corridors toward her quarters. Her footsteps echoed in the silence. Most of the station was asleep. She turned into Section 14, a maintenance corridor that was a shortcut to her room. The lights here were dimmer than usual. Some of them flickered. Felt something wrong, a cold feeling in her stomach, the kind of feeling that her ancestors had when predators watched from the shadows. She kept walking. Her senses were sharp now, her heart beat faster. The first shot hit her in the back. Pain exploded through her body. Every muscle tightened at once. Her legs went weak. She stumbled forward but did not fall. A stun weapon, military grade. On most species, a single shot would cause instant paralysis. The target would drop like a stone and stay unconscious for hours. Turned around. 6 figures stood in the corridor. They wore black armor with no markings. Their faces were hidden behind dark helmets. They carried stun weapons pointed directly at her. "Stay down," one of them said. The voice was distorted, impossible to identify. Did not stay down. She took a step forward. The second shot hit her in the chest. The pain was worse this time. Her vision went white for a moment. Her body screamed at her to stop moving, to fall, to give up. Every nerve was on fire. She took another step. What the one attacker said, "That's 2 direct hits. She should be unconscious." Shoot her again. The third shot hit her shoulder. This one finally dropped her to one knee. Her muscles were shaking. Her vision was blurring. She could barely breathe. But she was still conscious. This was impossible. 3 direct stun impacts would kill most species. Even the strongest would be paralyzed. But humans were different. Human nervous systems were stubborn. Human bodies did not give up easily. looked up at her attackers. Her eyes were still sharp. She memorized everything. The way they stood, the weapons they carried, the small registration codes printed on their armor. "She's still awake," someone whispered. There was fear in that voice. "How is she still awake?" "Finish it," another voice ordered. This voice was calm and cold. "Make it look like an accident, a maintenance failure. The wandered into a dangerous area and got hurt." One of the attackers stepped forward, weapon raised. Tried to stand. Her body would not obey. The 3 stun impacts had finally done their work. She could not move. She could only watch. "This is how I die," she thought. "Not in battle, not protecting others. Just murdered in a dark corridor by cowards who won't show their faces." Then the alarms went off. Red lights flashed. A loud siren filled the corridor. The attackers froze. "Security alert," one of them said. "Someone triggered the sensors." "Abort, we need to go, now." They ran. All 6 of them disappeared into the maintenance tunnels like shadows. In seconds was alone. She tried to call for help. Her voice came out as a whisper. The stun weapons had damaged her throat muscles. She could not scream. Footsteps, someone was coming. It was voice. "Where are you?" The scaled cadet appeared around the corner. Her yellow eyes went wide when she saw on the ground. "No, no, no, no," ran to her side. "What happened? Who did this?" Tried to speak. Only a rough sound came out. "Don't try to talk, I'm getting help." Lifted her head gently. "Medical team to Section 14. Emergency, cadet down." More footsteps, more voices. His vision was fading now. The last thing she saw was face above her, scales flushed with fear and anger. "Stay with me," said. "You saved on 6. You carried him through the ice. You don't get to die in a hallway, you hear me? You don't get to die." Then everything went dark. Woke up in the medical bay. Bright lights, white walls, the smell of disinfectant. A human woman stood beside her bed, checking readings on a screen. "Doctor," the woman said. "Station medical officer, how do you feel?" "Like I was shot 3 times. Doctor smiled, but there was no humor in it. "You were shot 3 times. Stun weapons, military grade, on a Pelion that would be death, on a permanent nerve damage." She looked at with something like pride. "On a human, you'll be combat ready in 6 hours. 6 hours? Your body is already healing. Your nervous system is repairing itself. By tomorrow, you won't even have a headache." Doctor sat down beside the bed. "I've treated injuries from many species in my career. Humans are something else. We just don't know how to stay hurt." The door opened. Instructor entered, followed by 2 station security officers. "Corporal Park," said. Her voice was serious. "Can you tell us what happened?" Told them everything, the dark corridor, the 6 attackers, the 3 shots, the registration codes on their armor. Recorded every word. The security officers exchanged looks. "We will investigate," said. "This is a serious matter." After they left, Doctor leaned close. "The Commandant is involved," she whispered. "Everyone knows it, but proving it is another matter. He has protected himself well." "Then I will find proof." "You almost died tonight." "I know," sat up slowly. Her body ached, but it obeyed her now. "That's why I'm going to end this, one way or another." Doctor studied her for a long moment. "I've read about human history, your wars, your struggles, your endless ability to survive and fight back." "What about it?" "I used to think those stories were exaggerated." Doctor stood up. "Now I believe every word. Rest for now. You'll need your strength for what comes next." Lay back and stared at the ceiling. Her body was healing. Her mind was planning. The Commandant had made a mistake. He had tried to kill her and failed. Now she knew who her enemy was. And humans never forgot their enemies. 6 hours after waking up in the medical bay, was on her feet. Doctor had been right. Her body had healed itself with impossible speed. The pain was gone. Her muscles worked again. The only sign of the attack was a slight stiffness in her shoulder. Was waiting outside the medical bay. His face was pale with worry. "I heard what happened," he said. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "You were shot 3 times." "And now I'm fine." She started walking, fell into step beside her. "Did you find anything?" He nodded and handed her a data pad. "The armor codes you remembered. I traced them through the station's equipment records. They came from a secure storage area. Only a few people have access." "Who?" "Commandant, Lieutenant, and 3 senior officers in personal staff." Looked at the data. It was not proof that ordered the attack, but it was a connection, a thread to pull. "There's more," said. "I talked to some of the engineering staff. The alarms that went off during the attack, they weren't automatic. Someone triggered them manually." "Who?" "She noticed you hadn't come back to your quarters. She got worried and went looking. When she found the corridor was dark, she suspected something was wrong and hit the alarm. Stopped walking. Had saved her life. The same who had looked at her with cold suspicion on that first day. The same who had questioned why I would want to join the academy. I need to thank her. Later, right now, you need to decide what to do. The official investigation is going nowhere, has friends everywhere. They'll bury this." "Then I won't wait for the investigation." Grabbed her arm. "Think about this. If you go after directly, you could be expelled, or worse. He tried to kill me. He'll try again. I can't just wait for the next attack." "So what's your plan?" Smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "I'm going to talk to him." Commandant's office was on the top floor of the administration building. It had thick walls, heavy doors, and security systems designed to keep out intruders. Walked through the building like she belonged there. She wore her cadet uniform. Her ID badge opened most doors. When doors didn't open, she found other ways. 2 guards stood outside his office. They were like him, large and strong. They blocked her path. "This area is restricted, Cadet. I need to see the Commandant." "Do you have an appointment?" "No." "Then leave." Didn't leave. She looked at the door behind them. It was made of reinforced metal, designed to survive explosions and attacks. A very strong door. She remembered something Doctor had said, about human history, about what humans were capable of when pushed too far. "I'm going through that door," said calmly. "You can step aside or you can try to stop me." The guards laughed. One of them reached for her arm. What happened next was very fast. Moved before the guard could touch her. She grabbed his wrist and twisted. He grunted in pain and dropped to his knees. The second guard swung at her. She ducked under his arm, drove her elbow into his stomach and pushed him into the wall. Both guards were down in 3 seconds. Turned to the door. She placed her hands on the metal surface. It was cold and solid, very strong. She pulled. The metal groaned. The frame cracked. The reinforced hinges, designed to survive explosive force, screamed as they tore from the wall. Pulled the door off and dropped it on the floor. Inside the office, Lieutenant jumped to his feet. His hand went to his weapon. Was across the room before he could draw. Her fingers closed around his wrist. She squeezed. Not hard enough to break bones, just hard enough to hurt. "The armor codes," she said. Her voice was very calm. "They traced back to your access. You gave the attackers their equipment." His face went pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." She squeezed harder. He dropped his weapon. "I was shot 3 times, continued. "I should be dead, but I'm not. And now I'm here in your office, holding your arm. Think carefully about your next words." Commandant rose from his desk. His gray face was twisted with anger. "Cadet Park, you are making a serious mistake, attacking officers, destroying property. I will have you expelled. You tried to kill me. You have no proof. I have the armor codes. I have equipment records. I have your quartermaster's access logs. released, who fell to the floor clutching his wrist. She turned to face the commandant. "And I have 6 attackers who are being detained right now by station security. Traced their signal signatures. They were using encrypted communicators linked to this office." His eyes went wide. "I also have this," tapped her temple. "Neural implant. Standard issue for all human military personnel. It records everything I see and hear. I have 3 stun impacts recorded. I have voices. I have faces reflected in helmet visors." That evidence would never be accepted in a tribunal. Maybe not, but it would be enough to start a real investigation, one your friends couldn't stop. The door behind opened. The real door, the one she hadn't destroyed. Station security officers entered, weapons drawn. Behind them came a tall alien in formal robes, an official from the Galactic Compact's Integration Council. Behind him came Instructor. Behind her came, the she had saved on the frozen moon, a dozen other cadets. "Commandant," the security captain announced, "you are under arrest for conspiracy to commit harm against a Compact service member." Looked at the crowd, his political friends, his protected position, his careful plans, all of it crumbling. "This is a mistake," he said. "This attacked me. She destroyed my door. She assaulted my aide." "After you tried to have her killed 3 times, Instructor said coldly. "We have testimony from 2 of the attackers. They have agreed to cooperate in exchange for lighter sentences. They named you as the one who gave the orders." The security officers moved forward, backed away until he hit the wall. "You cannot do this. I have served the Compact for 40 years. I have connections in the High Council itself." "Your connections," the Integration Council official said, "are the reason I was sent here personally. The Council takes attacks on member species very seriously, especially when those attacks are ordered by senior military officers." They put restraints on his wrists. As they led him toward the door, he looked back at. "This isn't over," he hissed. "Your kind doesn't belong here. You are animals, monsters. The galaxy will see the truth eventually." Met his eyes. She did not look away. "My kind," she said, "survived ice ages and mass extinctions. We crossed oceans in wooden boats. We split atoms and walked on our moon. We traveled across a galaxy to find you." She paused. "We belong wherever we choose to belong, and we remember who our enemies are." Had no answer. The security officers took him away. The office was quiet, looked at the destroyed door lying on the floor. Her hands were shaking now. The adrenaline was fatting. Stepped forward. Her scales were flushed with emotion. "You tore a door off a wall," she said. "It was in my way. It was rated to survive explosions." Shrugged. "I was motivated." Made a sound that might have been a laugh. Then she did something unexpected. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around in an awkward hug. "Thank you," she whispered, "for not dying, for fighting back, for showing us what courage looks like." Hugged her back. "Thank you for triggering that alarm. You saved my life." "Then we are even." Rushed forward and joined the hug. Then other cadets, aliens of species had never even spoken to. In that moment, surrounded by friends she had never expected to make, felt something she had not felt since leaving Earth. She felt like she belonged. 3 months passed. The trial of Commandant was short. The evidence was overwhelming. Testimony from the attackers, equipment records, communication logs, the neural recording from his implant. Was found guilty of conspiracy, attempted murder, and abuse of authority. He was stripped of his rank and sent to a prison facility on a remote station. His political friends disappeared like smoke. No one wanted to be connected to him anymore. Lieutenant received a lighter sentence for cooperating with the investigation. The 6 attackers were expelled from the military and faced criminal charges. The academy changed after that. New rules were put in place to protect cadets from harassment. Officers who had supported quietly retired or transferred to other stations. Instructor was promoted to a senior position. Continued her training. She worked harder than any other cadet. She woke up early and trained late. She studied tactics and weapons and medicine. She learned the histories of 100 different species. She made friends with aliens who had once been afraid of her. Stopped hiding under his bed when she entered the room. He started asking her questions about Earth, about rain and forests and oceans. He even said he wanted to visit someday. Became her closest companion. The Scaled had a sharp mind and a dry sense of humor. She pushed to be better in combat simulations, pushed her to be braver in leadership exercises. They made each other stronger. The she had saved on the frozen moon followed her around like a loyal shadow. He told everyone the story of how she had carried him through the ice. The story grew bigger each time he told it. On graduation day, the academy hall was full. Hundreds of cadets sat in neat rows. Their families watched from the upper galleries. Representatives from dozens of species had traveled to witness the ceremony. Earth's ambassador sat in the front row. Doctor sat beside her. Behind them, a group of human military officers who had traveled for 18 months just to be there. Instructor stood at the podium. Her blue skin was bright under the lights. Her large eyes swept across the crowd. When I first met Corporal Park, she said, I was afraid of her. I had read her species file. I knew what we're capable of. I thought she would be violent and dangerous. The hall was silent. I was wrong. Paused. I learned that being capable of violence is not the same as being violent. I learned that strength can be used to protect, not just to destroy. I learned that the measure of a person is not where they come from but what they choose to do. She turned to look at, who sat among the graduating cadets. Corporal Park chose to survive when others wanted her dead. She chose to save a fallen comrade when she could barely save herself. She chose to fight for justice when powerful people tried to silence her. Lifted a small medal from a box beside her. For these reasons, I am honored to present her with the Star, the Academy's highest award for courage and service. The hall erupted in applause. Stood and walked to the podium. Her legs felt strange, like they might not hold her weight. She had faced attackers with stun weapons. She had walked through frozen wastelands, but this moment felt harder than all of those. Pinned the medal to her uniform. You have earned this, she said softly, every bit of it. Thank you, instructor. No, smiled, a rare expression for her species. Thank you for showing us what we were too afraid to see. After the ceremony, found on the observation deck, he stood by the window watching the stars. Command already contacted me, she said. They want me on a frontier patrol station, the border sectors. Of course they do, turned to look at her. The dangerous places, the places where things go wrong and someone needs to fix them. Are you disappointed? No, I'm proud, he smiled. I remember when you first arrived, scared and alone and trying not to show it. Now look at you, medal on your chest, aliens lining up to shake your hand. I couldn't have done it without you. You warned me about, you traced the armor codes, you helped me find the truth. That's what humans do, we help each other, we survive together. Looked back at the stars. There are more of us coming, you know, more humans applying to the academy, more humans joining compact ships and stations. You opened a door for them. Thought about this. She thought about all the humans back on Earth, looking up at the night sky, dreaming of the stars. Some of them would face the same challenges she had faced. The fear, the prejudice, the quiet cruelty of those who saw them as monsters. But they would also find what she had found. Friends in unexpected places, courage they didn't know they had, a place among the stars where they belonged. They'll face hard times, she said. Not everyone will accept them. No, but they'll have something we didn't have. What's that? Proof, nodded at the medal on her chest. Proof that a human can walk into a place full of people who fear her, face everything they throw at her, and come out stronger. You're not just a graduate, you're a symbol. I don't want to be a symbol. I just want to do my job. Too bad you don't get to choose what you mean to people. He put his hand on her shoulder. Just promise me something. What? When you're out there on the frontier facing whatever comes next, remember that you're not alone. There are humans scattered across this galaxy now. Engineers and doctors and soldiers and scientists. All of us watching. All of us proud. Felt something tight in her chest. Pride maybe, or belonging or hope. I'll remember. The door behind them opened, and walked in, followed by a dozen other cadets. There you are, said. We've been looking everywhere. The celebration starts in 10 minutes and you're hiding up here. I'm not hiding, I'm reflecting. Reflect later, celebrate now. Grabbed her arm with his small furry hands. You won the star, the first human ever. This is historic. He's right, added. You have to be there. I'm telling everyone the story of the frozen moon again, and I need you to confirm the details. Laughed, it felt good to laugh. She looked around at her friends, aliens who had once feared her, aliens who had become family. Okay, she said, let's celebrate. They walked out together, leaving the stars behind them. But the stars would be waiting. There was a whole galaxy out there, full of wonders and dangers and things no human had ever seen. Would see them, she would face them, and whatever came her way she would survive. Because that's what humans did. They survived, they adapted, they kept going. And they never, ever gave up.